Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Cosmonarchy cast. This is an interesting one. So we've got Oya down here in the bottom left, and he is our most recent qualified player to Acropolis number 4 Battlement stage, right? Very prestigious tournament. So far, it's always for the, I think since Acropolis 2? No, maybe Acropolis 1, actually. Since the induction of it being Acropolis, I think it had a $1,000 prize purse, so minimum. So big shout out to our community for that. And no reason to expect it won't have it this time around, although, you know, we'll see. It's never a guarantee, but it's pretty cool, nonetheless, to see that. Oya is qualified to the group stage for that, the Battlement stage, after taking down the likes of Hanmano, Newt, and Arbuz Budesh. So Kenoli is going to be his next opponent, not in a tournament context. This is just a 1v1, and you can see that Oya is not playing as Protoss, right? He's going Terran instead, trying to learn an interesting situation. Now, when you see a player playing an off race, and, you know, typically it's against the main race, right? So, you know, Protoss players will sometimes play as Terran versus Protoss, and Terran players will sometimes play Protoss versus Terran, or Zerg versus Terran. They don't typically play the opposite matchup, right? They don't typically play TVZ. This is something that Oya doesn't really have any real reason to do unless he just wants to have some fun. So I appreciate that. Having fun with the game is always nice. We're on Serenity, a map by BDB, decorated by Jujic. Welcome, welcome. And Oya is in the bottom left. He is our Glacial Terran. And Kenoli, as always, is the Pumpkin Zerg in the top right. He has gone for a hatch first, I believe. Yes, indeed. That is a hatch first timing right there. Well, isn't that interesting? It's going to be a 2-Falk with straight into Cyclops. So Oya already playing a little bit different than our typical Terran. That's always interesting. And, you know, on autopilot, I didn't even really look at the races after booting up the replay, hitting the pause button and checking, you know, so make sure my overlay was right. And then I was like, oh, shit, Oya's Terran. So, you know, it's just that I didn't expect that. But appreciate Kenoli posting the replay. We're going to get into this particular game here with a bunch of Quas coming out. Now, Cyclops versus Quasilisk is an interesting unit-to-unit matchup where typically, like, unless the Quas have some kind of big positional advantage or maybe like a height advantage as the Cyclops are trying to attack into them, the Cyclops are just going to annihilate pool units typically. So this does go for anybody who can micro. I guess if you get across the map and there's not that much room to micro, that would be one win condition against the Terran army. Oh, you're going to be making a ministry here pretty soon, and he will be on 6 Cyclops, actually. A 6th one just got started up. He doesn't have the Vespene for anymore right now, so that's where his ministry timing is going to kick in here. Kenoli starting to harvest Vespene already. Wants to go for extra Larvosks, no doubt. And we are going to be seeing 10 Quas come on down. This should be a very one-sided fight in favor of Oya's mech. But, you know, there's a little bit of trading attempts. I love that he targets down the wounded one, so he does end up getting away with a little bit extra there. You know, talking about, what was it? Well, 10 times 50, so 500 minerals. Oh, no, it's the opposite, 250, because they're a pair. So, yeah, 5 times 250 minerals versus... Yeah, no, the price cost of 2 Cyclops, which I believe is 75.25. So, no, it's probably a wash if you consider the gas investment. But it does also cost Larva. And look at this, the Circuit is not done yet, and it won't be done. So the Cyclops are already going to be moving across the map and pressuring. Cyclops are very fast units. It's also worth pointing out that Serenity is the shortest map distance in the Empire class pool right now. So very big deals there. However, the pool units are out in good force, and we are going to see Oya eventually I'd be able to clean this up, but we got more units coming where that came from. Oh, the classic Kenoli move of Burrow. The Burrow trap is going to be good to descend upon this first one. By the way, I believe this is pre... Oh, no, this is actually... Yeah, so I was going to say this is pre the Zeth buff, but no, it is with the Zeth buff, which is actually helping Kenoli out quite a bit in this situation. A couple reinforcements streaming across the map here for Oya. He's capping his ridge in the main base, and he will be... presumably scaling up his production sometime soon. He's probably like, I made a Fulcrum. Why can't I make a Captaincy now? Isn't it like Protoss? Spoiler alert. Not quite. Quas continuing to do battle. The Circuit will eventually come up. Cyclops are surprisingly really good versus static defense, because they can like attack and then fall away and then wait for their explosions to detonate and that kind of thing, if they got the right auto spacing there. So I'm not sure Oya clocked that Burrow, but Lakes are coming. The Circuit is coming. Azorius is on the way as well. A 3rd Fulcrum is on the way for Oya, and he will go ahead and cap the ridge in his natural now. I do wonder about what Kenoli's expected transition point is. He's down by more than half the workers, you know, like more than double the workers rather that Oya has over him. So we're, you know, 14 to 30, 15 to 30 now, slowly scaling up. The Lakers are going to find themselves that... Oh, I don't know about walking right into that. Is Oya going to add himself to the list of players who need to be educated about the unsafe splash of the Cyclops? I wonder if he knows about that. Because, you know, he's got to have faced a Terran player that actually used those units. So surely he knows that, like, I need to walk right in to melee range. A little bit of a pirouette there as the... Oh, I thought he stacked his building somehow, but no, that's a lifted one. Okay, I was like, what happened here? Little bit of a dance over here on the rally, but Oya is going to correct that and now try to cycle away. The Zoryu's taking a beating, taking quite the shellacking there, dying for free. Kenoli not able to gain any ground off of that. He's got a lot more workers that he's been building up, but he does need to think about what his next move is going to be. Second scrapyard. Well, Oya is definitely hasn't hit the right button here. You do not need a second scrapyard. That's not a requirement. He must be thinking of it like Starcraft 1 Terran, right? But it's no longer a requirement there. He's going to queue it up by mistake probably. Or then he's going to realize that he can self-destruct. I don't know. He hasn't figured it out yet, but that's all right. He's still learning. He's learning Terran. One add-on unlocks the units for all structures, in case you were not aware of that little quirk in Cosmonarchy, that game rule, that technical rule. And there's tier 2 on the way for Sir Oya. Canceled whatever that was in exchange for it. Now he's making some Matadors, including Matadors from the Fulcrums that do not have the scrapyard. We'll see if he puts the pieces together for that. Olgord Cavern on the way for the Zorka Shroud evolution. We'll see what Kenoli wants to do with that. What always gets me about players who will complain about a thing about their race is that when good players try their race, try the race of the people who are complaining, and then they're like, wait, you have this? They're always like, why don't you use this? It's really funny. Some good Protoss players, when they found out that you have tier 1 Lakes, for example, on Zerg, were like, why do they ever complain about anything? But, you know, I think on balance, it's fine. It's just amusing to me, the things that people will zero in on. Because, you know, it kind of shows you what a particular good player thinks is, like, really hard to deal with when it comes to their opponent. Third base being deployed by Oya. He's adding a star pad as well. He's actually making double ministry. So he wants to expand multiple times. The Cyclops count has been reduced enough that the Zoryus are actually being a little bit of a nuisance here in the middle of the map. Kenoli's just kind of dancing with him while he makes Gorgor cores. All right, maybe that's why Kenoli decided to upload this replay, because he gets to dance with Oya in the middle. Oya makes all of this anti-ground. You know, he barely has any anti-air. And then, ta-da, Gorgor cores arrive, and he's got no defenses, and he has not scouted. Trojan on the way. I suppose we'll see the Cyclops drop, or maybe Matador drop. The Gorgs are coming, though. The Gorgs are nearly here. Macro hatch for Kenoli makes a lot of sense. He's got a lot of extra money. Feels like he could saturate the mineral lines a little bit better, but maybe it's about on balance there. Mostly thinking because he hasn't taken another base in a while, but there you go. 9 o'clock, or 3 o'clock rather, on the way. Gorgs are going to come down for an uppercut. Ground army just keeping him interested, keeping him active, keeping him awake. Looks like the Zoryus will go down, but there's more where that came from. Shout out to Delta Catamus for the model, and Solstice for improvements to it. Very cool. Very epic to have that. And, you know, Oya is no stranger to standing on top of Lakes, but he might be a bit of a stranger to actually killing them. Yeah, there you go. They got a lot of extra damage. Now, this move is going to be pretty deadly. I don't actually know if Kenoli can hold it. I guess he's got a lot of Zoryus. I don't really know how that matchup is going to work out. I would hazard a guess to say that the Matadors will be able to be quite deadly here. But there's nothing to defend versus all the Gorgs. So what's he going to do? Is he just going to commit to the attack? It feels like maybe the answer to that is yes. Only Zoryus being made behind this. My god, man. He doesn't deploy the Matadors, but I guess it doesn't matter too much. It doesn't matter too much. Apostles on the way. Cyclops on the way. He's going to try to reclaim his way out of the situation. The front line is being sieged. It does feel like, I don't know, man. The Zethar core is the circuit. This is not enough. He's got a couple Zoryus parked away. He's making Gorgs. He will save himself with the Gorgor core, the same thing that he's used to consign Oya to an untimely demise. Bringing home the bacon. Bringing home the Gorgor cores. Do not eat Gorgor core bacon. It is not good for you. He's attacking his own pool. Ah, I hate this pool. It hasn't given me a damn thing. A couple of Goliaths out, but I don't think they're going to be able to step to this many Gorgs. Not a single one going down. Sure, you wiped all of the mineral harvesters there in the main base, but you kind of forgot about all of the ones in the natural. Oya back in this has been making a lot of Masons in the meanwhile. He's got a lot of Madcaps, Apostles, and Cyclops. So we're not out of the woods yet here for Kenoli. Going after the workers here makes a lot of sense. He actually did kill that Circus, I told you. Cyclops are surprisingly good versus static defense, man. That was without micro, too. No hope on killing any of the workers in the natural, but still, he massacred the main base. A lot of hatches are down. Kenoli doesn't have as big of a bank as we thought because he just made 11 workers. I guess if his Gorg stack ever gets erased, then we could be in a lot of trouble here. Oh yeah, since he double made Scrapyard, he definitely doesn't have Palladium money. Keeping his Mason production up with 3 ministries, similar to Scribes. You know, he's going to start adding Watchdogs. You can see him adding 2 here. That's not going to be too many, but the Zets are going to come in and heckle that base. Force the army out just in time to see the Gorgs. I think you'd go and defend that and abandon the 3rd. You can see him immediately pulling those away. You know, the Apostles are kind of good here because they'll keep the unit count up somewhat. That's a lot of dead Masons, but, you know, 4 Gorgs have already been eliminated. Now pulling away. Oh, boy. Please watch out. Do not attack your own captaincy. What are you doing? Yeah, that's a lot of dead Gorgs. He didn't end up reclaiming any of them. But, you know, his worker count isn't that bad. The problem is he did end up losing his ministry, and now the Zets are attacking the natural. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Yeah, just ring around the rosy. Talk about dancing. Go back to the harvesting in the main base, and then the Gorgs are going to sink their teeth onto you. So he will end up losing a captaincy. He might lose the Atlas. He could lose all the workers, to be honest with you. And Kenoli has a lot of money again, but he hasn't made any combat units. This is one of the reasons why I said it's actually very dangerous, in my opinion, for Kenoli to be losing so many combat units, because I just know he's not going to make that many units afterwards. Got him. Atlas narrowly avoids being into burn down range, unlike this ministry that is indeed burning down. And Oya is just chugging along, just doing his best, just seeing what he can do. He's got a big army, but he can't leave the base without endangering everything. He could send like a small squad to wipe out these satellite bases, but he doesn't know that. Of course, you would expect your opponent to make more combat units, so kind of funny. Got some Goliaths coming. Transferring a big amount of workers back to the natural. What is that? 8 workers back to the natural. We got 7 down here. The Atlas is going to find a place to land. And while it's lifted, it doesn't provide the tech unlocks, so if he was trying to make, like, mantles or something, he would be shit out of luck. But he doesn't have the money for that right now anyway. Could see, like, maybe like Autocrat. Striga Autocrat would be a good way to do it, but, I mean, you got to get the add-ons for that. It's pretty hard. The Phantom Extra Ministry. I don't even remember where that was. I see. He's trying to burn down this Biotic Bastion, but he's got to disassemble it with a single Mason over time. This one is still burning, by the way. It is brazenly on fire in front of Oya's screen, but he's busy. He's making Goliaths. He's making Goliaths and Masons. Leave him alone. So, going back to a defensive stance, and Kenoli entering into podcast mode. He's going to make a bunch of his own Gorgs, his own Zoryus. By the time you guys are listening to this, I'll probably be on vacation, so I guess I can say hello from vacation. Hope you guys are enjoying Cosmonarchy. Obviously, the updates are going to be, I was going to say slow, but let's just say non-existent while I'm not here. Although there is one thing to maybe think about, which is that it's entirely possible you know, like Veek updates something while I'm not there or something like that. But yeah, you'll see me in like a week or so, a week and a half. And then we had the Ministry land. It does look like he's aware. He is clearly aware that you got to watch out for that Cyclops splash. When I do come back, it'll be the 22nd of October, and we will have a show match, a very exciting show match. You can check our Discord server if you want to see the announcement in official regalia. And what else do we have? I guess the following Sunday, which I believe is the 26th, you will see a weekend wage again. So get excited for that. So this is going to be the final showdown, it seems. I'm pretty excited for it. I don't really think there's going to be that much here that Oya can hold back with. Zozark Gorge is done. Trying to cycle back. Remember, the Zoryus can create the Rilla Rokors to pollute the corpse pool and cause some bigger problems, like armor rend and attack speed slow. You can see that at first it looked like maybe Oya could have made it through, made a maneuver, but now all of his workers are dying. The Goliaths are trying to focus them down, but the Zoryus, the goddamn Zoryus, man. More Apostles come down from the ramp. That actually helps Oya out quite a bit. A lot of workers went down. Stole a bunch of Rilla Rokors, which is hilarious. And now we have, because Kenoli like unburrowed his Lakes in the middle of that fight and decided not to keep it going. That's like a great choice versus like the counter Rilla Rokors. When you see Rilla Rokors from your opponent, you can oftentimes just be like, oh yeah, I got Lakes, so it's fine. So that goes in ZVT as well with the Reclamation. Oh no, the Lakes are just out here! No, Kenoli, don't do it! He's waiting for he's waiting for Zarkava cores. He's making Ultra cores. His Lakes are gonna burrow, but they're on enemy lines. Pretty good against Reclaimers, though, because like the unit respawns and starts to regenerate health from a small amount of HP, and then the Lakes just kind of kill them incidentally, so pretty good there for sure. Stealing a couple of workers. We know Oya likes to make units with mind-controlled, or in this case, reclaimed tech, so watch out for those. The Rilla Rokors, the Zoryus revealing the workers. They're on attack moves, so you're not going to be able to get away with that. What does he want to do with these? Is he going to just make it on location? Is he going to go find some other place? Ah, look at this guy. Sends one to go harvest and one to make a hatch at the 9 o'clock base. Man, Reclaimers are really showing their worth here. I mean, for a while, they were just kind of getting owned, right? And so it's funny to see them, like, they turned to fight in the 1v2 I casted between Crank, Simon, and Strungman. And then they turned a little bit of this engagement here. Although, really, I think focusing them down could have been helpful. Obviously, Kenoli went after the workers instead of sicking the Gorgs onto the Bio Ball. Probably could have ended the game right then and there. Now the Zarkava cores are going to do their best to try to... I mean, it does feel like this is going to be really hard to deal with. Look, they have so much spread damage. And they're on top of the Apostles as well. So that's a big wrap on the army. It feels like Kenoli, he's done with this dance. We got the Ultra Cores eating, consuming, and GG is called. Delicious. Kenoli feasts upon Oya. I bet you guys didn't have that on your bingo card. I hope Kenoli makes it into the battlement stage of Acropolis 4, and I hope he has to face Oya at some point, because that would just be such a glorious matchup in tournament play, especially if Kenoli performs the upset. So I just wanted to throw that out there into the universe, and maybe the universe will throw it back to me. GG's, thanks for watching more Cosmonarchy. I'll see you next time.